Hi everyone. So today we'll be doing one of the greatest physicists ever been on this planet. Neil deGrasse Tyson acknowledged him by saying, "A man who was connected to the universe in the ways that I never seen another man connected." Today's guest has discovered the laws of optics, figured out the white light is composed of colors, and have helped to add countless chapters in our physics textbook. He is none other than Sir Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. So, so Newton, let's directly jump into the questions. What would you say was your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement is widely considered to be my formulation of the laws of motion and universal gravitation. These laws, described in my book Philosophy Naturalis Principia Mathematica, laid the foundation for modern physics and led to many important scientific discoveries in the centuries that followed. Additionally, my work on calculus and other mathematical work also considered as greatest achievement.
Okay, so I sense you are very keen to preserve your reputation as an empirical scientist. I noticed in your answer that you didn't mention alchemy or your researches into the nature of ancient religion or mysticism.
You are correct that my reputation as a scientist and mathematician is based largely on my work in physics and mathematics. My studies in alchemy and other non-scientific fields were not considered as my greatest achievement, and were not as widely recognized or influential as my work in physics and mathematics. However, it is true that I did engage in alchemical research and was interested in the occult and mysticism, but it is not considered as my greatest achievement by modern historians, scientists, and scholars.
It seems to me that the greatest achievement for anyone is to do something which will benefit future generation, so that they are remembered and celebrated for what they have left to the world. Do you imagine others taking your lead and using your discoveries for the benefit of humanity?
I do believe that my work has had a lasting impact and continues to benefit humanity in many ways. The laws of motion and universal gravitation that I formulated have been used to explain and predict a wide range of phenomena, from the motion of celestial bodies to the behavior of objects on Earth. Additionally, my work on calculus and mathematics have been fundamental for many other branches of science and technology. And my work has been used as a foundation for many future scientific discoveries and technological advancements. It is my hope that my work will continue to inspire and guide future generations of scientists and thinkers, and that it will be used to improve the lives of people in ways that I could not have imagined.
I have a feeling you're right, Sir Isaac. Now, could you indulge me in one question you may find trivial, but it is one I have always wanted to ask? Is the Apple story true?
The story of an apple falling on my head and inspiring my theory of gravitation is a popular one, but it is not necessarily true. While it is true that I did formulate the theory of universal gravitation, the story of an apple falling on my head is likely a popular legend that developed after my death. The idea that an apple falling from a tree gave me the inspiration for the theory of gravitation is a nice narrative, but it is not supported by any historical evidence.
Okay, next one is a controversial question which I wanted to ask. Did Leibniz really invented calculus before you did?
The question of whether calculus was independently invented by myself and German mathematician and philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz is a long-standing one. While both Leibniz and I developed the fundamental concepts of calculus around the same time, in the late 17th century, there is evidence that I had begun working on the ideas behind calculus as early as the 1660s, while Leibniz began his work on calculus in the 1670s. Leibniz published his work on calculus in 1684, while I published mine in 1687. It's worth mentioning that there are similarities and differences in our notations and methods, which led to a priority dispute between us during our lifetime. However, it is widely accepted now that both Leibniz and I developed calculus independently of each other, and each of us made their own important contributions to the field.
How would you compare your views of world to the Aristotle's old view?
The view of the world held by Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, was very different from my own. Aristotle believed in the concept of natural place, where everything in the universe had a natural place in a hierarchical order, with the earth at the center and the heavenly bodies in concentric spheres above it. He also believed that the universe was eternal and unchanging. On the other hand, I proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system and the laws of motion that correctly explained the behavior of celestial bodies, and also proposed that the universe was not eternal but had a beginning. I also proposed that objects in motion would continue to move unless acted upon by a force, which is in contrast to Aristotelian belief that objects at rest would remain at rest unless acted upon by a force. Additionally, I made extensive use of mathematical reasoning and experimentation to support my theories, while Aristotle relied more on observation and logical reasoning. Overall, our views of the world were quite different, but both have contributed to the development of scientific understanding and knowledge.
And you know what? There is a rumor, strong rumor going about these days that you actually predicted the end of the world. Is it true?
There is no credible evidence to suggest that I predicted the end of the world. While I made many significant contributions to the fields of physics, mathematics, and natural philosophy, there is nothing in my published works or known private writings that suggests that I believed in or predicted the end of the world. The idea that I predicted the end of the world is likely a modern rumor or urban legend that has no basis in fact.
So, Isaac, anything else which you'd like to say to the youth?
As Isaac Newton, I would like to remind the youth that the pursuit of knowledge and understanding is a lifelong endeavor. Never stop learning and questioning the world around you. Be curious and persistent in your studies, and never be afraid to make mistakes. It is through making mistakes and learning from them that we truly make progress and discover new things. In addition, I would encourage the youth to think critically and independently, to not be afraid to challenge the status quo and to think beyond the boundaries of what is currently known. And always remember that the greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. Also, I would like to stress the importance of hard work and dedication. I believe that one of the keys to my own success was my willingness to put in long hours and to persist in the face of difficulties and setbacks. Finally, I would say that it's important to be able to communicate your ideas clearly and effectively. It's not enough to have good ideas if you can't explain them to others and convince them of their value.
Thanks a ton, Newton, for making up some time to answer our questions. That is it, guys, from our side. Thanks a ton for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you really like the video, and drop a comment who else we can have in this series of interviews next. Thank you.